Guys, it's Reagan Kelly here from the Freedom 15 movement, and in today's episode I'd like to share with you something that I rediscovered just over the course of this weekend. See, I was flicking back through an older notebook of mine to some notes that I scribbled down during an entrepreneurs convention held here in Adelaide. Now, one of the things that I wrote down was a thought that was shared by one of the leading entrepreneurs in his keynote speech. Now, this particular gentleman, he's a very, very successful entrepreneur, business person. He owns a very successful company here in South Australia. And essentially what he was talking about in concluding his keynote speech was what he considered to be the only failure in life. Now, as some of you will already be familiar with, you won't often see or hear a very, very successful person, no matter what their venture or their industry or their skill set, no matter what they've been successful at, you won't often hear them talk about failure in the typical sense. They'll talk about the lessons that they learned or what they discovered in the process of all those times it didn't work before it eventually did. So all of a sudden you have this incredibly successful business person standing on the stage introducing what he called the ultimate failure. So this is something that really resonated strongly with me, and as I thought back on it, I thought this is something that is probably very relevant to many of you. Now, what he considered to be the ultimate failure or the only true failure in life is where we are constantly measuring where we're at any point in time in our life in a particular area to a master plan. So we're constantly measuring and comparing and contrasting where we're at with what we ultimately want to be, do, and have in life. Now, this can be applied to absolutely any area. It can be financially, can be materially, can be to do with your relationships, your health, whatever it may be, your career, potentially where you're at in your business right now. And we constantly are comparing and contrasting where we're at with ultimately where we want to be. And where we have this deviation, we can seem to get disappointed, or we haven't quite got there yet, you know? We have this sentiment really deep down, and it's a really nagging feeling that we're not yet where we need to be. But while we're actually experiencing those feelings, we're neglecting to feel that each and every one of those dots that are plotted on that graph, you know, that say, you know, I need to be in a stable relationship by the time I'm, 26 or 27, or I need to have kids by the time I'm 35, or I need to, have this, that, and the other, or, this amount of savings, or whatever it may be, this health goal met by this age, and we constantly have these criteria. That whole time while you're measuring, you're actually forgetting that each and every one of those dots collectively make up your life. Now, as corny as that may sound, it's the absolute truth, and I think that a lot of us neglect to just take a moment to reflect first and foremost on where we're at currently, and in doing so, recognize how far we've come. See, for many of you watching this video right now, I know that a lot of my audience are existing home-based business owners. So in order to be watching this video, if that's you, first and foremost, a massive congratulations to you. And secondly, just reflect on all the various obstacles and decisions that you've had to overcome just to get to the point where you're watching this video as a home-based business entrepreneur right now. See, as I said, each and every one of those dots that you're plotting on that graph, they make up your life. So really be at peace with the fact that those dots have brought you to where you are now. And while it's very, very important and it's incredibly noble to be constantly striving for bigger and better things for your life in every single area, it's very important to just be conscious, to be present, and as I said, just to be at peace with where you're at any point in time. Now, the funny thing is, as I was preparing to make this video, a quote actually flashed up in my news feed by Robin Sharma. Now, many of you who have watched these episodes throughout this year will know that I have a very deep love for Robin Sharma and his teachings, and this particular quote from his newest book is something that very much fits in with the theme of today's episode. He said, "So love what you have and then go for what you want. Enjoy your climb up the mountain, but never take your eyes off the summit." So this perfectly illustrates, in my opinion, this balance that we need to find between the present and the future, and just being grateful for where we are now, just relaxing and recognizing that what we are perhaps considering to be stepping stones are actually in totality making up our life. So thank you very much, you guys. Until tomorrow, be brave with your life. I love each and every one of you. I shall speak to you then. Bye.